Hey folks, this is Kalani. The Shadowlands expansion draws closer and closer. The latest milestone that we literally just and so crossed is the pre-patch data and build becoming available on the public test realm. That's right, 9.0 is here for testing. It includes some of the larger changes coming in Shadowlands, as well as an event many of you may remember. The Scourge has been let loose, the level squish is upon us, and corruptions have been removed from the game. Let's have a look at what's coming in the pre-patch for Shadowlands and why you might want to hop onto the PTR to test a few things out. Before we jump in, be sure to pop by our live stream sometime over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and we always love chatting with you wonderful folks, so I hope to see you soon. Let's talk about the pre-patch event first, because that was one of our big questions for the pre-patch. We knew it was Scourge related thanks to BlizzCon. We kind of thought it might be a revisit to the Scourge invasion, that's happened twice now, but we couldn't be sure. Until now, anyway. Welcome to the Azeroth apocalypse. The Scourge has been set free. We were warned. There must always be a Lich King. And wouldn't you know, Sylvanas ripping the Helm of Domination in two and leaving Bolvar without a job sort of messed that whole thing up. So the Scourge is rampaging across Azeroth once again, and it's our job to stop them. Stop them? Did I say stop them? I meant join them. During this event, you can become infected by the zombies that roam, well, everywhere. And if you don't get to an Argent Crusade priest in time to cleanse this disease, well, let's just say brains are back on the menu. You become a ghoul, hostile to everything and everyone except other members of the Scourge, and you can go from town to town, city to city, rampaging your way across the countryside, infecting NPCs and players alike as you go, building your little Scourge army, and you can, if you have enough people, literally just take over anything you want. If you want Orgrimmar to burn to the ground and be ground zero, you can do that. If you want to slaughter your way through Stormwind and make another strat home, well, you can do that too. Obviously, players will be there to try and stop you, but that's just part of the fun. I will say, this event makes it very difficult to get anything done, including the quests for the actual pre-patch event storyline of us trying to solve the Scourge problem in Icecrown. Pretty much every NPC is fair game, so a lot of them end up dying. When this happened in the pre-patch for Wrath of the Lich King, the general consensus was to kind of give up on doing anything normal for a while, because zombies will be everywhere, absolutely everywhere. You run out into random questing zones, you will find hordes of zombies just chilling there, waiting to ambush some poor Lobby trying to quest. So the Scourge invasion is back in full force, and you can join in on the fun on either side of the conflict. The actual quest line for the pre-patch event has you head back to the Argent Crusade tournament grounds to help them stem the tide from Icecrown. There doesn't seem to be too much to do here besides the quest lines and the odd daily quest, but we will see the story unfold over several weeks, so that might add in some more activities as we go. Almost every undead monster you kill will drop a new set of Scourge Stones. Anyone familiar with the Wrath or Vanilla event will recognise these. You can hand them in for Argent Dawn rep. We'll see if they add in any other uses later on. A cool little side note, there are rares that pop up in Icecrown every once in a while. They do seem pretty rare though. I've only seen a couple so far, but they have a chance to drop some shiny loot. Wowhead has data mined a bunch of items for this pre-patch event, and I've seen a couple linked in general chat, so I can confirm that this event will in fact drop some gear. Item level 100 gear at that. If you're not too sure how that works out with the squish in place, normal Nyalotha in pre-patch drops item level 100 pieces of gear. These rares can net you some normal raid pieces if you're lucky enough to catch them while they're up, but there's something even stranger at play here. The loot only requires level 30 to use it. Normal raid max level gear available at level 30. That is absolutely insane, and it makes me wonder if it's a bug, but that's what it says on the PTR right now. So not only will this event have some gear catch-up potential, but you could actually start on that gear catch-up way before your alts hit max level, and then they have some crazy gear to grind out the last 20 levels with. But if chasing rares for some gear doesn't sound too fun, at least there's still the zombie apocalypse thing. Now perhaps the most important changes coming with the pre-patch, all of which you can preview on the 9.0 PTR, are the changes to your favourite classes. Everything that's going to change for the Shadowlands expansion will happen in pre-patch, not when the expansion launches. So, talent changes, spell changes, getting old spells back, losing spells and abilities, all that stuff will be in the pre-patch and available for testing on the PTR. So if you want to see what happens to your Demon Hunter when it loses a lot of its passive tankiness thanks to the nerfs, you can check that out on the PTR. If you want to play around with the new Eclipse for Balance Druids, or the new Shadow Priest changes, or the Fire Mage Ignite revamp, anyone and everyone has access to the PTR, which means anyone and everyone can check out all of the Shadowlands class changes right now. That's probably the thing that will interest the most players, I would think. Curiously, you can also still enter things like horrific visions on the PTR, so you could actually hop into a vision, test out how everything works, and compare it directly to how you perform on live, if that's of interest. Another massive change to how your class will play is the removal of corruption. All of your hard-earned corruptions and corruption resistance are being thrown in the trash can. If you look at a corrupted item on the PTR, the corruption portion is greyed out. None of it works anymore. So say goodbye to your Twilight Devastations and your Infinite Stars and your crazy crit or haste or mastery stacking. Everything is being removed, which will leave every single player significantly weaker than before, but you probably won't be able to tell the difference because of the level squish. More on that in a second. The real reason I bring this up is because you now have a chance to see how your class plays, not only with all of the Shadowlands changes in play, but with zero corruption. I know many classes rely very heavily on corruption in the current endgame. A Fire Mage won't be able to do much without their huge mastery stack. Beast Mastery Hunters will have to go back to not having constant resets on their barbed shot. Holy Paladins won't have ineffable truth to carry them to victory. We're all getting a mini reset in pre-patch before the big reset of launch day. So copy your characters over, give them a poke and a prod, and see if you like how it plays. Maybe try out a different character or class or spec. This is the best time to play around with things if you're maybe on the fence about swapping characters, because it will give you enough time to level them up and get them ready for the real pre-patch and then the real Shadowlands launch day. Now what's this about a level squish, I hear you say? Oh boy, oh yes. If you are level 120 right now, as in max level for Battle for Azeroth, you will find yourself at level 50 when the pre-patch arrives, or if you copy a character to the PTR. Everything is getting squished. Your level, your health, your damage, your stats, your item level, all of it. For example, the Demon Hunter I copied over has an item level of 480 on live, and on the PTR that takes it down all the way to item level 133. If you need a bit of a guideline, Nyalotha gear is currently item level 100 for normal, 115 for heroic, and 130 for mythic. On live I have about 544,000 health, and on the PTR that's all the way down to 24,000. So you will see much lower numbers on the PTR if you copy over, so don't panic, nothing's broken, we're just getting squished again. The game itself will be changing significantly when the new leveling system goes live. Instead of leveling from 1 to 120, you will go from 1 to 50, and then 50 to 60 will be available when the expansion actually launches. That brings us back to a level cap of 60, which sounds and looks much nicer, neater, and tidier than level 120 or 130 in my opinion. It was getting a little crazy there with the levels, but even more impactful than the reduction of numbers is the entire revamping of how you actually level. Instead of leveling from 1 to 60 in vanilla, then going to TBC or Wrath for 10 or 20 levels, then moving on for another 10 levels, then moving on again, and so on and so forth, you can now level from 10 to 50 the entire leveling experience, bar Shadowlands and the intro, in a single expansion. If you want to level entirely in TBC and Outlands, you can do that in 9.0. If you prefer Wrath, you can stay in Wrath zones and not touch a single other expansion until you get to 50, and then you'll have to go to Shadowlands. It's completely up to you how you level. You will still need to get to level 10 through your starting experience, or through the new Exile's Reach starting experience. Exile's Reach is also coming in the pre-patch, which means it's also available to test on the PTR. If you're curious how the new generation of WoW players will be taught how to play the game, you can create a new character on the PTR and boot up Exile's Reach. It's a very cool walkthrough of what to expect in the game: kill quests, gather quests, special mobs and NPCs, even a little dungeon to finish things off. So that's something else you can test if you want to. Leveling will never be the same again, and it's going to be amazing. Another large system overhaul you can play around with is the character creation screen and menu. I'm not sure if absolutely everything is in here, and as more beta builds come out with more options, they will probably be more up to date than the PTR, but you can see the new character creation screens, the class gear sets and animations, the new options and choices, skin colors, face shapes, hairstyles, hair colors, eye colors. It's all in there. If you've wanted to tinker with the new options or just create your perfect character ahead of time, but you haven't been lucky enough to get into the Shadowlands beta, you can now hop on over to the PTR. Again, anyone and everyone has access. It's the public test realm, and see how it's all shaping up so far. If your character has to look absolutely perfect, you can work out most of these settings and customization ahead of time, so when the pre-patch lands you can zip straight to the barber and change whatever you fancy. It's also a great opportunity to see what we have right now, so you can give the dev team feedback on what else you might want to see included in the future customization options. It's also worth mentioning that anything you can change on the character creation screen, you can now change at the barbershop. The only exception is your name. So eye color, scars, face shape, even gender. It's all very flexible in pre-patch. If you're tired of being a guy or a gal in game, change things up a bit. All it will cost you is a few pieces of gold. And something else to get excited about is the removal of reputation requirements for all allied races. If you hop on over to the allied race hub for your faction and click on the little banners, you can see the requirements for every allied race unlock has changed. You still need the achievements if they were needed before, but no allied race has a reputation requirement anymore. The older races from Legion and the newer races in Battle for Azeroth, both Horde and Alliance. That means if you don't have the rep, but you do have the achievements, you can just wait until the pre-patch arrives to level those races or alts if that's something you still want to do. That will give you something else to do while waiting for the expansion to launch at any rate, but if you really just didn't want to grind reputation, if that's not your thing, but you still wanted to play the allied races, well, now you don't need it. And that's everything you can look forward to in the pre-patch for the Shadowlands expansion, and what you can test right now if you log on over to the PTR. If you're unsure about how to get onto the PTR, just open up your battle.net app, click on World of Warcraft, and you should have a PTR option just above it in the drop-down menu. Installing is much faster these days, so you shouldn't have to wait too long, and then you can copy over any character that you want to tinker around with. It's also super useful to the dev team to give things a whirl. Even if you don't think you're providing much testing info, you probably are, just by being on the PTR and tinkering around with things that you want to play with. So have a bit of fun with it, but remember to save your energy for when the big patch releases for realsies. We're going to need some more zombies to take over Orgrimmar. What are you most looking forward to in the pre-patch event? Tearing off every poor NPC's face as a mindless zombie? Or maybe finally being free from corruption? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the beta or help us get ready for Shadowlands, you can find us over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and watching the stream and coming to say hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now. And if you ever wanted to be included in the long list of names at the end of every video, a subscription on Twitch is the easiest way to make that happen. You get a free sub to any Twitch channel if you have Amazon Prime too, so be sure to take advantage of that. A big thank you to everyone who's subscribed on Twitch already, and to our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, well, now you know how. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave. If you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I will see you next time.